My name is Paul Roberts, and I'm the Managing Director of Predictive Discovery Limited. And firstly, let me thank you for listening in on this presentation of Predictive Discovery Limited. Predictive Discovery has been a gold explorer in West Africa for more than a decade, and we've made a very significant discovery in Guinea. What we believe is the most, for a new discovery, the most exciting project currently in West Africa. A standard disclaimer. A little bit on the corporate front on Predictive. There's a couple of things that you can notice on the slide. Firstly, you can see we're sitting today on a market capitalisation of about 180 million Australian dollars, and we have about $26 million in cash. And the reason we're in such a good position is because of the discovery made on the Bankam project. And when you look at the graph, you can see what happened. On the 15th of April 2020, we had a huge jump up in valuation, and that jump up in valuation has continued all the way through to the present. Recently, we identified a high-grade zone in the core of our deposit, the Northeast Bankam deposit, and that caused that additional jump up in valuation in the last month or two. Some good institutional funds on our register. The board is a diverse board. Myself, I'm a geologist. I'm the founding managing director and CEO of the company. Francis Harper, an investment banker who's been the chairman of several very successful West African gold companies. Andrew Pardey, a geologist like me, but someone with a significant development background, formerly the CEO of Centamin, that's operating the very large Sukari deposit. Stephen Michael come from a more of a finance and broking background, and the rest of the team currently are geologists. Our deposit is located in northeastern Guinea. So this image here is of the Siguiri Basin, an area with very abundant gold, but quite underexplored by the standard of West Africa. And our discovery, as mentioned, is the Bankam project in the southwestern part of the Siguiri Basin. Deposits nearby, very fertile area, but where we hold our ground, never been effectively explored before. So this is, we've made a virgin discovery. Fantastic regional potential as well. And I'm going to elucidate all of that in the upcoming presentation. And one thing that's really important for us and very important for all mining companies operating in Africa, certainly, is ESG. Just mentioning that we have a significant and expanding engagement with the local communities, very important. We are obviously the most significant employer in the district. As you'd expect, we're running an agricultural program. It's effectively a microfinance program that's going exceptionally well in the nearby village. We have a children's school program, and indeed, we're going to be unrolling more programs as we go forward. So we have very strong engagement with the local community. It's a technical diagram. This image in pink is showing the surface expression of gold mineralization in the Northeast Bankam deposit. The dark pink is actually a contour around shallow vertical drilling that we used initially, auger drilling. That was a discovery method. And what you can see in these greys and reds in the center, particularly in the center of the zone, is oxide weathered gold mineralization extending for more than 1 kilometre in length. But there's a core zone in which the grades and the widths become very thick indeed, and where is the core of the deposit that we're in the process of talking about. And we've done a lot of drilling into this prospect. There is, in fact, another prospect 3 kilometres away where we put out some news just very recently. This is really the key diagram to understand how Northeast Bankam works. This is a longitudinal projection. So this is a projection of the dipping ore body, which actually exists in a number of different panels of mineralization projected to a vertical plane. And what we're seeing, these numbers, you can see there's 79 of 1.1. That's a 79 cumulated true width. That's across the dip of the ore body with an average grade of 1.1 grams. And so the core of the deposit is inside this dark pink, or this paler pink, plus 100 gram meters, very, very good widths of mineralization, 90, 67, 70, 407, as you can see. And within that, there's a higher grade zone, and the higher grade zone has a significantly higher grade mineralization, looks very interesting, and offers the potential of pushing this project forward into an underground mine development. And then on the flanks of the deposit, we can see we still maintain quite significant widths, but the grades drop off to a little bit lower than 1 gram a tonne. And near surface, this is a 700 metre zone, but indeed the oxide gold mineralisation, which is about 60 metres thick and vertical depth, is continued to extend both to the right and to the left of this diagram. But really the core of this deposit and the excitement lies in the central area here. We've drilled it down to a depth of about 300 metres, which we think all will fit into the open pit. And we're actually in the process of drilling deeper holes down here, looking to see if the high grade zone persists to depth. We think there's a good probability it will. And obviously that will add significant excitement to the project. This cross-section really tells the story in a number of different ways. Firstly, when you look in the top of the deposit, this is this oxide zone. So it has very good economic characteristics. It's about 60 metres thick or thereabouts. It's nearly all mineralised over a width of 200 metres. And so what that means is that when you mine it, you'll be mining pretty well gold mineralisation in its entirety, very little waste rock to mine in the early stages. It's soft, which means mining costs will be low, which means treatment costs will be low, and gold recoveries can be expected to be very good. Below that, in the fresh rock, we have this very extensive deposit dipping at an angle of 45 degrees, perfect configuration for open pit mining, which means the floor of the open pit will come down where I'm drawing the cursor through here. This is the waste rock to remove. A good, what is known in the industry as a stripping ratio, a good stripping ratio. And then as we go to depths, we get these outstanding high-grade broad intercepts. So here we have 55.6 metres of 5.7 grams a tonne, including 40 metres of 7.3 grams a tonne. Very nice mineralisation. And deeper down, the deepest hole for which we've received results so far is 50 metres of 11.7 grams a tonne. A truly exceptional intercept at or close to the bottom of the expected open pit, and gives us great hope that we'll be able to continue finding more of this mineralisation to depth. We've drilled a hole down here now, and we're obviously hoping that we'll be able to turn this into an underground mineable deposit with these kinds of widths and grades and scale. This is 80 metres to the south, very similar pattern, 44 metres or 8 grams here, similar thick widths. This is about 90 metres away from that previous intercept. Down here we have 12 metres of 6.7, a little thinner, but nonetheless very good grade mineralisation. This is further to the north, where you see very similar patterns, very similar widths, and this is further to the south, where you see the same thing with a flatter dip. So it all joins up very beautifully, and that means that the next phase that we're going towards is resource calculation, and which is in progress now, and we should be able to have a good story to tell about that. 3 kilometres away, we've been drilling on the Mancang Creek prospect, about a little smaller, about 300 metres long, but we've been recording very nice intercepts from there. Just recently, we put out some results. So you can see we've got this 36 metres of 1.8, and then we have on the other side, on the same section, 34 metres of 3.7 grams. Excellent intercept, very interesting mineralisation. It looks like it's going to be a very useful contributor to our upcoming resource estimate. Here's a little cross section through these very recent results. They're only put out on Tuesday morning. It's 34 metres of 3.7, and you can see this 36 metres of 1.8. 21 meters of 1.5, 18 meters of 2.6, 15 meters of 1.9. So nice thick zone of mineralization, nice accommodative depth for open pit mining as well. So a real opportunity to find more here. And certainly we haven't drilled it to the economic depth. Here you can see we've drilled it. This drilling is to about 100 meters vertical. Certainly we believe that you could drill it to 200 meters vertical and maybe more and fit it into an open pit. So two very interesting discoveries. Northeast Bankan is looking large. Bankan Creek a little bit smaller, but put them together. And certainly what we've done so far, very significant discovery. And important to bear in mind that this is a discovery that has only been known since the 15th of April 2020. So we're actually the beginning of a discovery story rather than at the end of it. We're putting out a maiden resource estimate shortly, but that's actually a waypoint. So to demonstrate scale, indeed we're putting up metallurgical test results to demonstrate the recovery of the gold. But this is to allow investors to have an understanding of the starting point, if you like, of this story. Now we hold 358 square kilometers of ground here. What we're looking at on the right-hand side here is an image of aeromagnetics. And what that aeromagnetics has demonstrated for us, a very significant structure, 35 kilometers long. You can see on this image, Northeast Bankan and Bankan Creek, but there's certainly really substantial potential to find more in these other areas. And so we've been working on those. We're very active as regional explorers. We're not just focused on these two deposits. We're working on them both at the same time. And we've already identified some good results, and we're looking forward to doing a deeper system of drilling in the next month or two. So here's one image from part of the area that we've been doing the regional exploration up in the north, about 17 kilometers away from Northeast Bankan. And you can see we've had very interesting intercepts, 12 meters of 10 grams, 16 meters of 2 grams. This is geochemical drilling, very shallow drilling, certainly potential to find interesting gold mineralization at greater depth in exactly the same way as we did at Northeast Bankan. Up here also you see another zone, maybe 1 kilometer long, of gold mineralization. We're very interested to be drilling that as well. So certainly very interesting prospect, but very, very early days. Aggressive program, auger drilling, and now what we're looking to do next is to use a percussion method called a method called air core drilling, and with that we're hoping to find more extensive gold mineralization at depth in exactly the same way it did as Northeast Bankan, and move on to the deeper drilling methods that we've been using on Northeast Bankan. So here's an image of the air core drill rig. It's only just started with us. It's only been going for about a week. We expect to be using that all through the rest of the year, possibly into next year as well. So a very active program. So as you can see, we've got these two elements. We've got the drilling on Northeast Bankan and Bankan Creek, these known deposits. We've got regional exploration over this 358 square kilometer tracts. And we have high hopes of finding more gold deposits in this area. It's a very well mineralized district, but our particular area has not been drilled before. And then 150 kilometers away to the northeast, north of a new mine development called Tri-K, just 7 kilometers north of Tri-K, we've got another project. You can see this pale blue color. This is the extent of artisanal workings extending over many kilometers, and indeed thousands and thousands of artisanal working. Only very limited previous drilling. We've done some initial auger drilling there. We've got as much as 6 meters of 32 grams, 6 meters of 9.8 grams. Very, very good results. Very early days. And we expect to be going there and doing air core drilling after the rainy season on this project. So another iron in the fire that the company has beyond what we have at Bankan. So this brings me to a summary of where we're at today on the project. So we go back, as I said, on the 15th of April, we announced the discovery. We started drilling almost immediately with reverse circulation, then diamond drilling. We started a second program of drilling beginning in late December And that's been running through until the present, or in fact, until a couple of weeks ago. So until a couple of weeks ago, we were drilling for the resource estimate on Northeast Bankan and Bankan Creek, these two deposits I've mentioned. We've drawn the line on that. We're expecting to get the maiden resource estimate out by the end of the September quarter. So we, and indeed all of our investors, are waiting with great interest with that. And also so that we can provide the market with the proper assurance on the metallurgy of the deposit and an idea of the way that the ore is going to be treated. We've also been undertaking a reasonably significant program of metallurgical test work. We expect to get those metallurgical test work results out in the next few weeks, certainly before the maiden resource estimate will come out, which we expect to be in late September. And then, of course, there's a lot more work to come. So we've actually increased our drill capability on the ground there. We now have 2 diamond drill holes, drilling these deep holes, right? And we'll be drilling in the shallower part of the Northeast Bankan deposit and deeper down, possibly significantly deeper down with diamond drilling. We'll be doing deeper drilling on Bankan Creek as well. With the 2 rigs available to us. And then, of course, we brought an air core rig. We have a power auger rig that continues to operate. We've brought in this air core rig in the last week. So even though we're in the middle of the rainy season, when generally in West Africa, the intensity of work decreases, there will be no decrease there has been a little slowdown over the last month or so, but now we're essentially up to where we were before the rainy season started, and we'll be pushing through essentially all the way through into next year. And the things that we'll be doing, of course, is to further characterize the known deposits, to do some infill drilling, but most importantly, to look for more. So we'll be looking for more throughout this 358 square kilometre area, first with the auger, then with the air core, then with reverse circulation, eventually with diamond drilling, looking to make more discoveries to add in to the next iteration of our resource estimate, which we would expect to come through in the first 6 months of next year. Added to that, we're undertaking various baseline studies. Obviously, we've been doing the metallurgy. We expect to do a little bit more of that. We will be doing internal, if you like, back of the envelope scoping studies, and we'll be starting that quite soon, although it will be a while before any of that's publishable because of the ASX disclosure rules on scoping studies. And indeed, we've started on baseline studies, baseline social and baseline environmental studies already. So we're in a hurry on this project. We're making very rapid progress. And most importantly, and finally, I should say, we're a company that is driving towards development. This isn't a story about us getting to a certain point and saying, okay, now we're going to sell it to a corporate or something like that. That is not part of our plan. We're adding capability, building the team, having Andrew Party on board, very important because of course he has all of that development background for his time with Centamin and Sukari, and out of that nucleus, building a project team to take us as rapidly as we possibly can through into feasibility study, obviously with the largest possible resource that we can identify and reserve, and then push through to a development decision at the earliest opportunity. But this is just a summary of where we are and where we're going, and I thank you for your attention.